Okay, there we are. We're live. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, Linda. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Me too. This is a lot of fun. So, Lisa is a friend of mine. She's a career coach helping people who really want to change their careers. And I thought it would be great to chat with Lisa today because my focus is helping people with stress, specifically how it relates to health, because my background is around health and stress is a huge impact on your health. And I know that a place where people experience a lot of stress is in their career. And I'm lucky to love my career. I think you love what you do too, right?
I have the best job in the world. Yeah.
But not everybody feels that way, and that can be very stressful for them. So I asked Lisa to come on and talk with me. We had a couple things in mind to talk about. Maybe what are the top 3 things with the people that you work with, Lisa, that stop them from making a change in their career or creating the career that they want. So what is it that stops people? Some things they can do about that, etc. So let's start there, if you don't mind. When you're
Sure.
working with people and they're like, I hate my career, or it hasn't gone the way I wanted, or I ended up picking something because I didn't know what else to do, or somebody in my life wanted me to do that. And now I really want to do something else, but I don't know what to do or how to do it. What do you find are the biggest blocks for people in making those changes?
Yeah. So I would say it's tough to pick the top 3, but I would say definitely fear is a big one because people just are so afraid of making a mistake, because typically women, I work with women specifically, they've invested a lot of time into their career and they feel like they don't know how to do anything else, which is of course ridiculous because they know how to do lots of things. They just don't recognize their talents necessarily. And so that fear also creates doubt, right? Which kind of leaves them paralyzed because they're stuck in fear and doubt. Like, where do I start? What if it doesn't work out? What if I land on the streets? I mean, these are real things that women talk to me about. And then another big thing that stops people from moving forward, lack of self-confidence. They just don't have that belief in themselves necessarily. For many reasons. Maybe they're just really beat down at work, which is pretty typical. They're working in an environment that is not really serving them, or they're just doing something mindless that they could literally do with their eyes closed, and they're just not challenged anymore. But they don't feel perhaps they're really, really good at their job, just really don't like it or really don't love it. And so how you get stuck in a trap like that. You find yourself in a role and you do a good job because you're a good person and you want to do a good job, and then you just continue to get promoted and continue to work your way up. And then you just find yourself in this place where you thought you wanted to be, and it's 20 years later and you don't want to be there. And so you just really don't feel confident enough to move on because you've only done this one thing, or you've only worked in a particular industry, or many reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you picked fear and doubt as your initial response to what's the block, because fear, what I find in working with people who are stressed in whatever area, there's always an underlying fear that's causing the stress. So even if it's like, it looks like it's a time issue, right? I don't have enough time in the day, but the fear is I'm not going to get it all done. I'm not going to handle what I need to handle. There's always an underlying fear. So it's interesting that you find that fear is also a thing that is a block for the people that you work with. So if somebody came to you and said, yeah, I'm 50 years old, let's just say, you and I are both in our, I know I am. Are you in your 50s?
I'm 52. I'm proudly 52. I own my age. I talk about it all the time.
Okay. And I'm loving your Canadian accent, by the way. This is my Canadian friend. I have a few of them. So anyway, so we're both in our 50s, and it is scary to reach, it's one thing if you're 32 and you think you want to make a change, but if you're 52, right? So I would think that having partnership, sorry, hold on.
That happens to me all the time. I have a dog as well. This is what happens when we go live. This is what we coach our clients through, right? Like not everything can be
The
perfect.
mail, the mailman, the mailman just showed up, and dogs and mailmen. So anyway, having the partnership to like walk through what would it take now, as opposed to when you're 32, you sort of feel, or I felt, invincible and I could go do anything, but maybe people aren't feeling that way. So, I don't know where I went with the question. I got distracted by the dog barking, but what would you want to say about that?
Well, you were talking about partnerships specifically, and I think it's important to, I mean, honestly, just for the clients that I work with, I really think it's important for them to have a mentor or a coach. And I know that, I don't know, when as I say it out loud, it sounds a little self-serving, but at the same time, like I know that having a coach really helped me in when I was starting my business, for example, just recognizing, kind of showing me what my strengths are and giving me a roadmap and specific things to do, because I didn't even know where to start, right? And so similarly, if somebody's looking to change careers, I think that it's really important to find somebody that you trust or that you connect with, and who's been there before. Because what happens is we get stuck in our fear, right, and our self-doubt and our lack of confidence, and then we talk to our friends. I was just talking to a client yesterday, and we literally started working together, and she had said, she has these big dreams. She's in her 60s, and she's just recently retired, and she wants to do something in retirement. She doesn't want to just hang out and do nothing, right? She has a full life, but she really just wants to make some additional income. And she's gorgeous, and she wants to sell makeup, which seems like a perfectly logical thing to do, really. And her friends are all telling her, you're too old, who's going to want to do this? And like, lovingly, they have the best intentions. They just don't want her to be disappointed. But I think it's important to surround yourself, to your point, with people who support your dream and know how to help you get it. Because
Yeah.
oftentimes, we're surrounded by family and friends who love us and want the best for us, but also don't know how to support us. So they kind of like dim our light a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Out of love and wanting the best.
Yeah.
Also, I would think partnership helps you stay on task. When I have felt fearful in the past or blocked in some way, that's when procrastination shows up, because I'm avoiding doing the thing because maybe I'm fearful that I'm not going to get the results. So let me not really get to the action, because as long as I haven't done the action yet and failed, I can still pretend that it's going to happen or something. But there's a piece there that contributes to procrastination, right?
Yeah, for sure. I know even in my own life, when it's not like we don't have fears, they just magically go away. When I'm procrastinating or not doing, like recognizing that I'm not doing the one thing that I know I should do, then I
Right.
typically would call a friend, like I would call you and say, Linda, you know me and my pattern, like I know this is my pattern. And, being a coach, I know that I need to lean into it, but it's really, it's easy to be stuck in fear. But if you have somebody that you can call or somebody that supports you, then, they can, it's like I liken it to having a professional athlete has a coach and they're on the sidelines, right? So they can see your patterns, they could recognize what you're doing, and they literally have no expectation, right? Like they tell you what's going on without any judgment, because oftentimes your coach is the only person in your life that doesn't have an expectation of you, right? Because your family has expectations of you, your
Yeah.
friends have expectations of you, and they also know you and know your history. And so I do feel that holds people back oftentimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Well, if you were to give somebody just a couple of tips, just so that they can walk away with some information from having watched this, maybe some recognition of, yeah, I have been stuck in patterns or fear. And I think you said confidence. I know you do a lot of work with women and getting the confidence,
Mhm.
especially when you're older.
Mhm.
A lot of confidence. I hope that your friend or client does the makeup thing, because I see a lot of uh, things on Instagram, older women, just really changing the perception of what's possible.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah,
And And Linda, this client, she's gorgeous. Her makeup is beautiful. I only, I hope to look as good as she does when I'm her age. But she has, people in her inside circle telling her, almost like not to do the one thing that she wants to do and the one thing she's passionate about, and she's already terrified to do it, right? So it's not helpful. And so anyway, we're gonna get her on track. But to answer your question, some things I would suggest is, well, let's just talk about like stress and overwhelm a little bit, because I know that that's what you work with. One of the first things that I work with my clients on is really just taking their time back a little bit, because what ends up happening when people want to make a career change, they'll just say, for example, I don't have time, right? Because we all have a life, like families and things outside of work, and then you're trying to do it all at work. As women, we tend to just want to do it all, and there's no time because you don't have any time, you don't have enough time, or you feel that you don't have enough time. Then you're stuck in stress and overwhelm, and you just stay the same. And so one of the first things I would encourage you to do is take your morning back. Like, this is just one thing you can do. I promise you can do it, is take your morning back. Okay. And that could look like, as soon as you get up, don't look at your email, right? It's the simplest thing. Just do not check your email. I promise you, the sky won't fall down, the world won't fall apart, and you will have a better morning. And when you start your day off, like in an intentional way, not reacting to others, because here's what happens, right? You get up, you go to bed maybe, and you have all these plans for your day the next day. And then you get up and you think, oh my gosh, I have all these things I need to get done today, typically, right? And then as soon as you check your email, you're immediately in reactionary mode. Like, you're immediately on someone else's agenda, because inevitably somebody will have asked you to do something, someone will want something from you, or there'll be something in there that reminds you that you didn't get something done the day before. And so then you immediately go to work to do whatever that thing is. And that wasn't the thing that you had planned to do. So now you're already starting your day off in stress mode.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would even add to emails, social media, right? Immediately checking Facebook, Instagram, and just giving yourself that time back to yourself is huge. And one tool that I use with people is helping to retrain their neurology, their nervous system, because when they're always stressed, there's a physiological response to that. So while you're changing your daily habits, you also want to teach your body how to shut off that stress response, because oftentimes it doesn't remember how to do that when you've been stressed a lot for a long time. So I think that's one thing from each of us. Well, to have people start to pay attention to, like, what is my body telling me, right? Because we get so in our head around what we need to do, we lose touch with our body. What is my body telling me? I'm noticing I'm breathing fast. I'm noticing that I feel tight muscles, and for a lot of people that just feels normal all the time. That's how they feel. That's how life is. So yeah. Is there anything else that you would want to share with somebody, if they're feeling blocked, fearful, overwhelmed around their career?
Yeah, I would just give one more tip, and I know you and I do this all the time, and that is, I would encourage you to remember. I like to write these down because I like to journal, but you can, create a voice note, or you can record yourself talking, and just give yourself the gift of sitting down for 10 minutes and remembering all of the challenges that you've been through, all of the struggles that you've overcome, and all of the really, really difficult times in your life when you were able to navigate your way through and get to the other side. And what that does is it gives you a list of, it just reminds you of your strength and your ability to get through hard things. And it puts you in a place where you're feeling proud of yourself. Right. Yeah. So yeah, it just puts you in a place where you're feeling proud of yourself, because sometimes it's, when you're stuck in overwhelm and anxiety and doubt and fear and, not believing in yourself, you forget how awesome you are, and you forget all of the amazing things that you've already done. And it's so easy to do this. And I would encourage anybody who's listening to just get in the habit of creating, a list of things that you're proud of. And it could just look like, I had a difficult conversation with my daughter. It could look like I spoke up in a meeting. It could look like I went for a walk and I really didn't want to. It could be the easiest thing, right? But just to train your brain, like to your point, to train your brain to look for things that you're proud of, because then that builds confidence in yourself and builds pride in yourself.
Yeah. And I want to share with people from a physiology standpoint what that does. So when we are in fight or flight, which is where your nervous system goes when you're stressed, right? It doesn't know the difference between a deadline and a meeting at work, or, paying a bill and being out of work or whatever, and running from a tiger. It does not know the difference. So when you're in that place, you're only focusing. The brain's job to keep you safe is to find the problem. Where's the danger? What do I need to be protecting myself from? And so that's what we see are all the problems. But when you do what Lisa suggested, which is stop and remember all the times you outran the tiger, all the times you overcame something, and it might be, I had to give a speech in my senior year in high school when I ran for student council, and I gave that speech. Oh yeah, I could do that. But it actually allows your brain to stop focusing on only the problems and start to see solutions and see that you're capable of solutions. So you get a different feeling in your body, but you also have the ability to see possibilities and solutions in a way that you don't see when you're only stuck in running from the tiger. So awesome.
I love it. I love that analogy.
Yeah. So anything else that you want to share with people? Let me just leave it there, and then I'll ask you how people can reach out to you if they wanted to.
I don't know. I feel like I have so much to say, but I think we'll leave it there for now, because I really like the analogy of the tiger and not, your body not knowing the difference. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really true. Fight or flight is fight or flight. I mean, your body really has no difference at all.
I would actually just give one more tip, because you just reminded me, like, when you're feeling fearful, like to your point, your body doesn't know the difference. When I'm feeling fearful, I tell myself, like, instead of I'm scared, I'm excited, because your body doesn't know the difference between those two emotions. That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of very similar. There's the heart is beating faster. Your breathing is shallow and faster. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm feeling scared, I will literally tell myself, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, because it feels the same. Right. Yeah. And so when you're excited, being excited is so much better than being scared. Right. Because I can do something I'm excited about, but I might not do something that I'm scared to do. Right. So
that's a great tool, actually. That really does work. I can see, I was just imagining in my head, like, I'm really scared and I'm at that place where my heart is pounding and I've got butterflies in my stomach. That's also like, how it felt to walk down the aisle getting married, or how it felt the first time you were meeting somebody or something else, right? So it is a very similar feeling. So if you just tell your brain, oh my goodness, I'm so excited to go do what I need to go do. Let me go do that. I think that's a great tip. So yeah. So we can, if you've got other stuff to say, we can talk again in a couple of weeks or something. We can schedule something again, because I always love talking to you.
I love talking to you too. It's so fun.
Yeah, thank you. And if somebody watching wanted to talk with you even more and get some more information, they feel stuck in their career, they have this dream, but it's always been on the back burner. They don't know how to make it happen. Maybe they're out of work and they think, oh, I just have to go back to a job that I've always done, but I really don't want to do that. Like any of those scenarios, and probably 10 others would work with, or just having confidence, right? I know that you work a lot with women to gain their confidence. How would people reach you? And I'm going to put it here and I'm going to post this.
Okay. You can, probably the best way is just through any social media channel. So I'm Lisa McPhee, at Lisa McPhee. It's LisaMcphee on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. That's my name. So you can just direct message me on any of those platforms.
So Lisa McPhee at Lisa McPhee, or Lisa at Lisa McPhee? I'm sorry.
No, just if you go to Facebook, you can find me, Lisa McPhee. If you go to Yeah. Or if you want to email me, you can email me to just send it to my Gmail account because I send everything over to there. So it's just lisamcphee@gmail.com.
Lisa McPhee at gmail.com. Okay. Just gonna put it up there. You make it nice and easy for people to remember. So that's great. Thank you. We're all about ease and making life work, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I've been really, really digging in with people for the past year or so around stress and solely on that. I used to, do a lot of stuff around health, and I just feel like stress is the number one root thing. And so I'm just really happy to have all the different ways that stress shows up and have an expert like yourself really share some insights with people. So thanks for being available today.
Thanks for having me. It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. We will do it again soon.
Sounds great.
Ciao.
Bye.